Welcome back to the Battlefront Alliance, and today's video is going to be a little bit different. We are going back to Star Wars Battlefront 2 as it launched in 2017. So if you didn't know, on console you can force games back to their initial release. That is what we have done here today. So let's go check out what Battlefront 2 looked like as it launched. Obviously, I think we all know the controversies around this game. Had one of the worst game launches, honestly, almost in history, and completely evolved and completely found itself in later years after update among update. But early on, it looked like it was on very shaky ground and almost did not survive. Loading into the main menu, just how nostalgic. You have the holograms on the right, the main menu looks totally different. It is absolutely insane to see the state of this game. Looking at all the heroes and how many we had when we launched, half of them locked behind a crazy paywall. Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, 65,000 credits, the most downvoted comment in Reddit history. It's insane looking at this all these years later. Unfortunately, we do have to remain offline in this video, as if we go online, it does automatically update the game. So we are going to be a little bit limited in what we can do here, but just absolutely insane that we can still go back and do this and see the state of how it was. You have Galactic Assault, Starfighter Assault, Heroes vs. Villains, Strike and Blast. Obviously, that's the original version of Heroes vs. Villains before they took out the target system and totally reworked that mode. No capital supremacy, no Heroes Starfighters. It's, yeah, just insane to look at the state of everything. We have our offline modes, no offline capital supremacy. You did have your solo custom arcade. You had all the battle scenarios. I remember grinding through those at the start of the launch. I believe one of the skins was tied to that. Wasn't that the Han Solo skin, if I remember right, with the beard? You have the campaign. This was the initial campaign. You did not have the Resurgence DLC at this point. That came, I believe, a month or two after launch. They patched that in, which unfortunately would not be featured in this version of the game. But yeah, it looks just so different. The memories that come back from 2017 are closing in on 10 years now. Just looking at the main menu, you have the clone troopers before they had all their skins. It looks like honestly no appearances were added in at this point. That came a little bit down the road. They added all the alien heads, and then the clone troopers obviously came in quite a bit later as they started to release all the Clone Wars DLC along with all the heroes, Anakin, Obi-Wan, Grievous, and Dooku. That is still years off at this point in the game's history. But yeah, it's crazy. I guess let's jump into a little bit of gameplay here. Not sure if I want to just jump into instant action or if we want to go into battle scenarios. I believe the first one was that Darth Maul one. Yep, that's right. Wipe them out. It could either be the B2 or Darth Maul. Remember that being available in the beta, I believe. That was the only one of those missions, and yeah, I think I played them maybe once outside of that just to get them done. You have all the maps that were available at launch in Custom Arcade. This was obviously greatly reduced from what we ended at, as a lot was ported over in updates that came following launch. So yeah, it's definitely very much reduced. So let's go to Naboo. Let's go and just up the troopers for both sides here, may as well. And let's jump into some instant action here on Naboo. It's so weird seeing the holograms. It's been like how many years now, and even like the player profiles, like the pictures of the character when you go to select them, I believe they redid a bunch of them. Like the Luke one looks different, the Leia one, the Han one. Yoda looks similar to what he was currently at the end of the game, but there's definitely some differences among some of those as well. So let's jump into it here. I don't know how much would be different here, at least with Luke. Obviously, still had his push, still had his repulse, still had his rush attack. That was all the same as it was at the end of the game. There are actually a few heroes now that I can think of on the light side. I believe that would be Leia and Yoda that had a little bit of reworks to some of their abilities. So let's go check out them. First off with Leia, she had a patch that removed her flash grenade, which was totally useless. No one ever used it. And they ended up actually replacing that with 3 grenades, which were pretty powerful. So jumping in here with Leia, You'll see. I'm pretty sure she got a total character rework as well at some point. She looks very different to what she was a little bit later on. So yeah, I have the flash grenade, have the shield, still have that middle ability, which is pretty good for her. But yeah, it's crazy, the flash grenade. I don't know why they ever thought that would be a good idea for her to be able to be playing online against some of the other heroes, which were way more powerful than her. That ability gave her no favors whatsoever. Then Yoda also got a bit of a rework. I don't know if I can show it off here because I'm not going to be playing against heroes, but he initially could not block with his lightsaber. Him and Darth Maul, which we will get to here shortly. But yeah, he just had the block where you could almost create like a force bubble and push everything back. It would charge him up, but he could not block against saber heroes. And that was one of the things that at launch really upset me with Battlefront 2. And how it was so different to Battlefront 2015 and how every lightsaber hero could block. Now all of a sudden you have, what, like almost half of them that can't. Never really made any sense to me, and I'm really glad that that was patched in future updates, because it was definitely needed. Then reloading here on the Separatist side, I believe the only hero with like major changes was Darth Maul. Obviously everyone got, you know, a few small tweaks and stuff, but he was very different at launch to what he would eventually get to, from his saber throw to the blocking ability. Like, I'm holding the left trigger, can't do anything. That was just so dumb. That was such a weird decision. I don't know why they decided to go that way. And then yeah, the saber throw, how you used to throw it vertically at the opponents opposed to horizontally. You never hit anything, like, ever. And if you did, it was just an absolute miracle. And he had a lot of issues, I believe, with his saber throw throughout the game, but I want to say by the end of it, they got it patched to a pretty good state where it was working at least somewhat regularly. It's just so weird, like, going into battle here, all these clone troopers and I can't block a thing. There's the saber throw again, just totally misses. Yeah, it's just absolutely crazy going back to this, like, all these years later. Seeing the evolution of this game in one of the best comebacks in gaming history. I don't care what anyone says, like, this game was absolutely destroyed at launch. It looked like it had no future. The devs went absolutely silent for so long, and yeah, to see it come back and get to a state where it was by the end of the game's life cycle, and seeing the push for Battlefront 3, it's just absolutely insane to look back on with hindsight. I did originally actually plan to do this with Battlefront 2015 as well. I tried it, but a lot of the features, you have to literally be online, otherwise it locks you out of the system. You can't go to customize your character, you can't look at any stats, there's unfortunately nothing really there, so gonna have to just end it here, today's video, with Battlefront 2. But yeah, looking back on what was. That'll do it for this one. I'll see you all in the next video.